and welcome back to the Irish Tennis Updates podcast, to the third episode of the College and Pro Tennis Update, where myself and Mark Finnegan, we look at the progress of all the Irish college tennis players and also the pro players to see how they are all getting on. I think it's really great to give all these players the recognition they deserve. And here we go. Here's the updates. First of all, just welcome back. How are things with you?
Yeah, doing well, Adam. And we've had a great positive response and had a few players reach out and say how thankful for you for doing this and to me the last week or so. So look, I think it's great. Again, we need to recognize how well some of our college players are doing out there and hopefully give them the best support we can from back here in Ireland.
Absolutely. And to jump in and to look at some of the girls who are playing and to start off with the West, I guess, just to look at the progress that's been going on there the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and let's continue to keep the same order too as well. So right now at the moment, the twins, Sol and Lola Lida, have been performing really well and consistently. So their team is 7-3 and 7-3 record. They've won their last 3 matches in a row. So a nice little 3-match win streak. Their record actually in doubles has been very impressive at number 3 position and number 2 position. They've been 7-1 in doubles. Lola's actually been very impressive in singles too, with a 6-2 record, and Sol with a 4-3 record in singles. And Zara Ryan at Utah State continues to impress. She's still playing top of the lineup at the number 2 position. Her team is still 3-4, but Zara herself is actually 5-2 in singles. So very impressive singles play right there at the moment for Zara. Shauna Heffernan team haven't played that much. Their record's still 3-2, and Shauna is 2-3 in singles, but a very impressive 4-1 at the number 1 doubles position. Very impressive to think that she's playing number 1 doubles as a freshman in her first year at Boise State. Sophia Durbin's team is having a great season. Absolute massive win. They're coming off a great win over Berkeley, who are 12 in the country. Sophia's singles record is a very impressive 7-1 at number 2 singles in the lineup. Her team is 7-3. I didn't see Sophia actually in the lineup there in the last match. So, there must be something maybe going on injury-wise or something going on. But hopefully she'll be back in that lineup soon because their team is having a great year at Colorado. Shauna Casey, team is still struggling a little bit. They've lost a lot of tough matches. Shauna herself has lost a lot of tough matches in 10-point tiebreakers when the team's match has been decided and they've already lost. I think she's lost, 4 or 5 of her matches in 10-point breakers. So obviously if the match wasn't decided, there'd be a full 3-set match, so that might have been a different outcome. Courtney, the last time we talked, had been battling some injuries. The team is at a 5-2 record. They actually played Shauna Casey's team the other day and won. She looks like she hasn't been playing much singles and just in the doubles lineup because I think she's been serving underarm. So that's it for the West. I'll go on to the South, Adam. So now in the South, we have Georgia Drummy at Duke. Obviously they're a top 10 team in the country right now at the moment. They're coming off a great, tight, tough win over Miami 4-3. The team's record now is 9-1. Georgia continues to play at the number 2 position, and she has a record actually of 9-2. Then we go on to Jessica Lehmann. Jessica Lehmann's team is having a tough year. They're 2-9, and on that record, Jessica has been doing much, much better. They've moved her up into the 3 spot. She was playing at number 4. Actually played Ali O'Dee's team from Elon the other week. Ali O'Dee's team at Elon did win that match, and we'll talk about her in a second. So, hopefully Jessica can still keep winning and keep moving up the lineup there, where I think she played 3 and 4 last year. Moving on to Ali. Ali, as we said, played Jessica's team and they did win. Ali's now solidified herself nicely in the lineup at 5 and 6 singles, has a 4-2 record, and has been playing a little bit of number 1 and 2 doubles. And then, Anna Botel from Rice team had a very good win over a top 25 Arizona State team last week. Their overall team record is an impressive 7-2, and Anna's singles record is 8-5, primarily at the number 4 position. So that's a little bit of an update there on the South.
You mentioned Georgia Drummy's team in Duke, and I was keeping a little eye over the weekend. They had a couple of matches, and I saw the match against Miami. I think the team in Miami was kind of short players, so it does kind of show you the struggles that are there for some teams still at the moment.
Yeah, and absolutely. And every week is a different week with a new battle, and new challenges and obstacles. So I know they did play Notre Dame last week too as well. So look, it's funny is you can play a team one week and they could be playing at a top 25 level in the rankings, and maybe the following week they might be playing at a 50 to 75 ranked team in the country because they might be missing 2 or 3 players, So certainly an interesting year. There's been a lot of upsets so far in college tennis, especially on the men's side. And so, but it's kind of nice to see too as well, and seeing some new teams kind of break into rankings that they normally wouldn't have been.
Yeah. And I guess to move on to look at some of the other players in D1 schools around the Northeast and the Midwest, what updates do we have over there?
Yeah, so, well, great for Emily Donovan. So she finally got to play in the last couple of weeks. So their team, played their first matches. Emily played at number 4 singles and number 2 doubles. I think they've just played a couple of matches, if not just one match so far. So well done, Emily, on getting yourself off to your college start. We have Iowa State, again, having another fantastic year. I think their national ranking for their team is the best national ranking they've ever had at their university. I think it's in the 30s, but their team is 8-2, and they're just coming off a recent win over Drake. Ellie has been contributing a little bit. She played at number 6 and singles against Drake, and she's been playing a lot at number 3 doubles. So good for her to be able to start getting a little bit of inroads into that lineup. Then we have Sacred Heart. Also great to see Kira O'Toole. She's finally gotten to play some matches. Their team is like now 1-2 record. She's been primarily playing at the top of the lineup in between 1 and 3 singles and 1 and 3 in singles in the lineup, and playing like a 1 and 2 in doubles in the lineup. So great to see that she's off to a good start and playing at the top of the lineup for her school at her new at Sacred Heart. Then, Julie Burns' team has been doing fantastic at Northwestern. Their team is 10-2, and they're coming off actually a tight win over Jenny Timoton's Michigan State team, 4-3. Very, very tight match. Julie's been doing really well at number 2 singles. She hasn't changed from that spot. Seems like that's the spot she's going to be playing the rest of the year, and number 1 doubles. And so, yeah, they're off to a great start. They had a tough loss to Michigan in their last match, 4-2, but Michigan have a very competitive team this year. So then let's move on to Michigan State. And so that's obviously we just mentioned there with Jenny. Jenny has played a little bit at number 6 singles, but mostly at 3 doubles. Their team record right now is 3-6. They play in a really tough conference, which is the Big Ten. So hopefully Jenny can continue to make some inroads in that top 6 in the lineup. Lucy Octave, haven't seen much update there from Xavier. Not sure what's going on with them right now at the moment, but the team record was at 5-1. Laura Fitzgerald from Illinois State. The team is 9-6. They were on a nice 7-match win streak there, but have actually just moved outdoors, which is a really big deal. So Illinois State would be playing in a bubble indoor matches, and they went down south to play a couple of the teams outdoors, and they lost those 2 matches, probably against teams maybe they would have expected to win. But there's such a difference between playing in a bubble indoors in the north than going down into slower courts in the south. So her team is right now is 9-6. She's been playing a little bit in 4, 5, and 6 in the lineup. And then we talked about Olivia Moriarty, the Brown. They're not going to be starting their season yet because they basically postponed their season for COVID-19. So yeah, that's all of Division 1. And we can chat a little bit about Division 2 teams here, Adam, if you want.
Yeah, and just before we go on to the D2, I think what I like so much about kind of getting these updates is you mentioned Laura and you mentioned Anna, who would both be from the same area as me in Greystones. And it's great to hear the updates on the local players as well as everybody else. I think that's what's so great about hearing these updates of the people that you might know and to see how they're getting on.
Yeah, no, it's great. And let's hope those girls can come back and be able to, and we've got some sort of summer league going on for them. Fingers crossed we're playing some sort of team summer league this year. And, that's a huge part of this is we're hoping that, if you, as a college tennis player, if you can compete, 11 months around in the calendar year, and, you take a couple of weeks off every year, you're going to get better and you're going to move up the lineup at your university each year. It's the players that sometimes maybe don't play as much in the summer, that they go back the following year to college and they ultimately kind of stay at that same level. So our goal is to hopefully keep all of our players playing and training over the summers. I know that's something that Tennis Ireland and all the provinces are really trying their best to put something in place for players in the summer, so they have a support system here when they come back. So hopefully more positive things to come on that in the near future.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear as well. And I guess to move on to the D2, as you said, what updates do we have for those girls?
Well, yeah, look, again, the 2 twins, Annie and Caitlin. Annie continues to have a fantastic season. She's, I think, undefeated right now at the moment at at 6-0 or 7-0. But she also had a great win over a Division I university, a very competitive Division I university called East Tennessee State. Annie actually took down a very good singles player at number 1 position, and they actually, her and Caitlin won 6-2 in their doubles at the number 1 position against that same school. Their record, overall team record at Tusculum is 4-2. The team didn't beat the Division I team, but obviously the girls had a lot of success there. So great to see them doing really, really well. Emer Mar's team is 2-0 right now at the moment. She's been playing again at the top of the lineup at number 1 doubles and number 2 singles. Still haven't played that much, but playing a little bit. Emily Connolly's been making some nice strides. They were on spring break, so they played a ton of tennis matches at Indiana Wesleyan University, which is an NAI university. They moved up in the rankings into number 9 in the country. And Emily's been playing 4, 5, and 6 for them with a 4-1 singles record, and been playing mostly at 3 doubles. So they just lost the number 1 team in NAIA, which is Georgia Gwinnett, which is a fantastic level of a team. And I think Emily had a tough loss in doubles, 7-6 in the third. So that's it for the females, I believe, unless I've missed somebody.
Yeah, and just before we move on to the guys, do we have any updates on the coaches and how their teams have been getting on?
Yeah, so I think we have the same 3 coaches that we've mentioned, and actually, I believe Dara Glavin, happy birthday to Dara. Dara's birthday, I think, was, I believe, today or yesterday. Their team is 3-5 right now at the moment. They play in a very competitive conference. They're just coming off playing the number 4 team in the country in Virginia, and I know they're playing Wake Forest in the next couple of days. So their record is 3-5, but they've still had some very good wins this year. So hopefully that keeps going for Dara and he keeps progressing with his new team. Cal Berkeley just haven't played. Their next match is, they're still 2-1, and their next match is not till March the 20th. So they've just played very little tennis. Not sure why. And then we've got obviously Peter Fleming, Montana. Their record is 3-6 right now as a team. They've had some tough losses versus Utah and by BYU in the last couple of weeks, which will be 2 very competitive teams. And obviously Hussien Shafri. Hopefully that relationship's going well with player and coach there too as well. So
hopefully in 2 weeks' time, when we're going again, we will have an update on Peter Wright and Cal Berkeley. Have some update on them.
Yeah, March the 20th. So maybe I'm sure they're going to be playing a ton of matches then, if they've probably sandwiched it all into the very end of the season.
Yeah. And to move on to the guys who are playing, what updates do we have on those guys?
Yeah, so Thomas, I think the last time Brennan had at Butler hadn't played a match yet, but now their team has played 4 matches. The team is off to a bit of a tough start, 1-3 right now at the moment, but Thomas is playing in the top spot. His record actually is 2-2. He's had a couple of really tight 3-set losses at the number 1 position against some really good universities. So he's off to a pretty good start, but obviously Butler needs to kind of get going there with getting a couple of wins under their belt. And then obviously we mentioned there Montana with Hussien. Hussien Shafri continues to play at the top of the lineup at the number 2 position. He's had some competitive matches again against those Utah and BYU, where he's played those guys tough but hasn't been able to get the wins. And then we talked about Sean Keane at Coker. They're in a bit of a tough run right now at the moment. Their team, they've lost their last 5 matches against really good Division II opponents, and they're into conference schedule right now at the moment. They're in a very strong Division II conference, but Sean's actually performing very well at the number 4 singles and number 2 doubles. His singles record is 4-2 currently right now at the moment. Then we've got Matthew Saunders at Tiffin. Tiffin's team is a 2-4 record right now at the moment. Matthew is at the top spot, one of the top spots. His record is 2-4. So it's great to see Matthew contributing at the top of the lineup for Tiffin. And then we've got Marion University, where Mark Griffin is. And Mark has not played lately. I don't know why. The team record is 9-7, but still don't see him on the lineup the last couple of matches they've played. And then we've got Keane McDonald at North Dakota. Keane is off to a great start. I think we've talked a couple of times during the last couple of times about him, but his record as a team is 7-2, and he's currently 7-2 in singles. Actually played number 1 doubles last time out for North Dakota. So great to see him doing really, really well. I think the only guy that hasn't played yet is Moritz Stenzer. Moritz they've had a couple of matches cancelled for Rollins College. They're scheduled to have their next match potential on the March the 16th. I believe that's one of 2 players that have not yet played college tennis yet this year. Carl Butler continues to play at number 6 position at Gardner Webb. teams clawing their record back. They were, I think, 1-5, but now they're up to 4-6. I think they had their first conference win. So great to see that. So things are definitely looking up there for Gardner-Webb, very young team. Christian Duffy, also, sorry, I said that was Christian Duffy hasn't started yet for Stonehill College. So he doesn't start till March the 18th, and that'll be their first match. And then good news there out of Limestone College, Dovey was able to secure what's called Player of the Week. So he had a perfect 4-0 record, not last week, but the week before that, and that we didn't do an update. And he's been playing at 3 singles. So great to see him obviously get Player of the Week. And he's been primarily playing at the number 2 doubles position and has a record of 4-2 and the number 3 singles position. So almost there, we're getting almost there. But Fergus O'Rourke now has been doing really well, again, playing at number 2 position for his new university at Spring Hill College. His record in singles is 3-2 currently at the number 2 spot. And then we've got Morgan Lowen, who hasn't been able to crack the lineup of Iowa. Iowa's played in the Big Ten again, very, very tough schedule, coming off a couple of teams playing inside the top 25 in the country. His team's record is 3-4, and hopefully Morgan's going to get a chance to at least contribute to the lineup at some stage, maybe throughout this semester, because that'll be the last year for Iowa tennis. Philip Lynch for Sacred Heart. They got their season finally going too as well. Unfortunately, off to a bit of a tough start. Their team is 0-4. Philip played the first 2 matches at number 2 in the lineup in singles and number 1 doubles, but have not seen him in the lineup since. It must be something to do with obviously maybe an injury or COVID or something along those lines, but hopefully he's back in the lineup soon. Neil O'Connor doing well at his new home at Coastal Carolina. Team's record, haven't played that much tennis, 1-2 right now at the moment, the team record. He's played at number 6, did win his last match at the number 6 position against a very competitive Charlotte team. And then we've Charlie Barry, who continues to play for Tulane. Tulane, very highly ranked tennis university, and their team record is 7-5. They played a very competitive schedule. He did play 1 match at the number 3 position, but has not really been able to crack that top 6 consistently. And then Jonathan Garcia, great to see him get his season off to a start too as well. Team is again off to a little bit of a rough start there, 0-4, but he's actually playing in the top 2 positions in singles and doubles too as well. So, what we can kind of see there, Adam, is there is a bunch of players that are sometimes playing in those top 2 positions. Maybe teams are not getting off to a phenomenal start, but they're having the ability to be able to play those top positions, which can be great for your development, obviously, if you're playing the best players at each university each week. So for now, that's pretty much an update on everybody.
That's brilliant. No, it's great to get all the updates, and I do obviously appreciate the time that you put into getting all the information and sharing it around, because I know I enjoy hearing it. So it's great. And I guess we'll move on shortly then, just to touch on a few of the updates for the pro players around Europe and around the world, in fact. So I'll just mention a few of these. So firstly, Simon Carr was playing an event in Tunisia last week where he reached the quarterfinals in singles and the doubles final. And he's in action again this week in Tunisia again, and I think today he's getting underway in the doubles. Then also to touch on Carola Bejanaro, the last time we talked, she had just reached a singles quarterfinal and doubles final. And then the following week, she actually she backed that up with another singles quarterfinal and then went all the way to win the doubles final. And in that final, they lost the first set. She then got the second set 9-7 in the tiebreak, and then the champions tiebreak, they won 12-10. So a really good win in that doubles title for Carola. And then this week, she unfortunately missed out in her final qualifying match in the singles, but some more good action recently for Carola. A couple more players to touch on. Firstly, Oscar Hussien, who has been in India for the last 2 weeks. He qualified for the main draw in the first week and missed out. And then this week he got to the final qualifying round and didn't quite make it in. But good to see Oscar having some good success in India. He's gone a long way, and he's having some good success over there. And finally, Beatrice Pertak, David Gabor, Preston Connor, Dorian Koss have all been in action as well over the last couple of weeks. And just to touch on Dorian, because I know that also Dan O'Neill and Keane Maguire have been traveling a bit and playing and not quite getting into draws sometimes, but I know they're traveling, they're training, competing. And I know that in the next couple of weeks, keep an eye out maybe for some content with those guys, just talking about their experience. So it'll be good to hear from those guys. And that is it with the updates.
Adam, I'm not sure if he got in, but I know Omar Lehmann was traveling to Tunisia to play. So I'm not sure if he maybe didn't get into the draw, the same similar to what Dan O'Neill is experiencing, or maybe he's just using the first week as a practice. But I think he'll be hopefully in the qualies maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He wasn't in a qualities draw this week, but it'd be good to see if he's in action in the next couple. But that's a good one to look out for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's all the updates I had. We've gone through all the college updates, which I really enjoyed getting. So I guess that's about us for today. Anything else you'd like to add, Mark?
No, thanks, Adam, and hopefully see you in another 2 weeks.
And just before we leave you for this episode, here is an update on one final player, Finlay McFadden.
We also have Finlay McFadden from UNC Asheville. Finlay has gone 2-1 in singles, a little bit at the 5 and 6 position, and has been a little bit in and out of the lineup. So they're 3-3 as a team, Division I University in North Carolina. So it's great to see Finlay being able to play in that lineup of 5 and 6, but hopefully he can get the next couple of weeks, he can solidify himself in the lineup.
A big thanks to Mark for his time and for putting together all the updates. If you know of anybody who might be interested in hearing all the progress of these players, please do share it around with them. And with that, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another update, and goodbye.